give me a taste of something that you've been running into and something that's been done to improve upon it that has worked. Hank, why don't you go ahead and get us started, man?
I couldn't really hear you. The sound was kind of cutting in and out there.
Okay.
Can you hear me, Mike?
I can hear you fine, and my volume is up and everything, so there shouldn't be any issues with that.
Okay, it's good. It's good now. I mean, earlier when you were talking before that, I couldn't hear you. It was cutting out. And now it's good.
Might have been an internet thing that happens sometimes.
Check my connection here.
Okay. Yeah. And
you were asking me a question. I couldn't understand what you were saying.
Okay. Well, what have you run into that you've been able to overcome in this, whether it's objections or just staying focused or anything of the sort?
Well, it's just it's just been interesting. A couple things, calling a company, maybe asking for different people, getting different responses is kind of interesting. Just I was kind of going through my calling people this morning. I've got a number of companies that I've called numerous times and keep getting. I found the person I think's a decision maker, and I just can't get them on the phone. So that's kind of, I'm thinking. These are companies I've kind of identified that they're large, good-sized companies. They're not small companies that should have something there, but I just can't get the person I want to talk to on the phone. So, again, it's kind of a time management thing. So what do? Some of these, maybe after hours on the weekends, I've been kind of looking them up, maybe on Reference USA, trying to find another contact, or so kind of just thinking through my process there. If it's a bigger company, there's got to be something there. But then if you spend this time trying to get names and this, and you finally get through to somebody and they don't want to talk or engage, you wasted your time. But so just kind of thinking through that, just trying to be efficient, but wanting to talk to good companies. The bigger companies are harder to get into, but we we probably have more of a need, more of an opportunity than a smaller company. So kind of running into that.
Okay, and on the ones that you're having a problem identifying who actually makes the decision on that, go as high as you can up the ladder. Whether it's a chief financial officer or a CEO, and that person will be able to tell you who handles that within their organization. Of course, getting them on the phone is going to be a little more difficult than getting the credit manager on the phone. However, to get them on the phone, you can use some of our getting past the gatekeeper skills to get past their gatekeeper. This is when they begin asking you who you are, why you're calling, all of that stuff. This is Hank Paven with the firm Lyons and Associates. Can you connect me, please? Short, sweet, to the point, and that will get you through to a higher percentage of them.
That typically works. But there's just a number of them this morning. I was calling back. You do that, and they write the voicemail. It's been 4 or 5 times to that person. So, but I want to try to figure out a way to get into that company. But how much time do you spend on it? But
well, Well, if they're doing something like that and sending you straight to voicemail and you have the person's name, leave a brief voice message. This is Hank Pavin with the firm Lyons and Associates. Can you please give me a call at, and leave your number.
Try that.
And if they call you back, hit them with an elevator pitch. Some of them will call you back. Some of them won't. But you know, it's worth a shot. And of course, if you're not getting anywhere, get rid of it and move on to some things where we can get something out of it. Frank, what are some of the things you're running into?
Yeah, there I am. Well, let's first thing, you know, do you guys know Kevin Hogan, the Psychology of Selling? He's someone that we were talking about, you know, the positive mental attitude books and stuff a few weeks back. And a little trick, Kevin Hogan, huge on the psychology side of selling. And a little trick that I did, I heard from him, is you put a picture in your office in front of you when you're making calls of whatever most attractive woman is that in your mind is most attractive to you. And subconsciously, that tweaks something in the back of your mind to perform better on the phone or whatever it is. If you're in the field, then you put it on your dashboard in your car. So that's something that I tried about, and he said do it for 30 days. He's done all these studies with universities and salespeople that will increase your results by 40%. So that's something that I've done that just kept me, I guess, has made me more positive on the phone. I haven't really done it for more than a week, but it's made me make more dials, so that's a good thing. And Kevin, he's got a great, Coffee with Kevin, on his website. You can connect, sign up for that, and you get little things daily, from him that's motivational. So, or from his organization. Probably he's not the one doing it anymore, but so, and then, in terms of what I've been finding, what's been working for me is ask them to throw me a bone, throw me something, but because I always get that you're all the same. So I've always said, wait, no, we're not all the same. We get better results, 3 to 5 times more returns, faster yields, and the reason being is we send private investigators to shake the bullshit out, shake the truth out of these guys in the field. And I said, so just throw me something, and then once I get something from them, I remind them that I don't only want their garbage. I want, when they run their agent report, I want some 60 to 90 day stuff too. So, and I've been getting better. I haven't had any of that cream of the crop yet, but again, I'm just just really signing up my first few clients anyway. So, but I'm getting some positive results by just asking, throw me a bone. Let me show you how we're different. But once I get past that, you're all the same. Then I'm gonna have had some success.
Good deal. Good deal. And I like the idea of putting a picture of something you want in your office. That's actually something I do, and I've been doing it for many years. 10 years ago, I had a picture of a Porsche Cabriolet on the wall in my office that I wanted to buy, and it said "Focus" under it. It was just an image I did on the computer, and I printed it up on picture paper, framed it, and stuck it on the wall in my office. What was funny, I ended up not buying that car. 10 years ago, I ended up buying a Range Rover. but the thing is, if you're constantly seeing something that you want, it does help you to focus and keep your goals in order. And it's similar to the practice of writing your goals down. And I absolutely subscribe to the psychology of selling and dealing with people because it's very important. so that's absolutely some good stuff. And good job bringing some clients in, man. That's a good start, and we just keep it moving. Keep it moving.
Exactly.
Kim,
Is my microphone working this time?
your microphone is working this time.
Oh, thank heavens. I don't have any idea why it wasn't working last time, but I'm glad it is now.
Okay, what we're talking about here is what obstacles have you run into, and what have you done to overcome them? Basically, what inspires your development as a sales professional?
So I have a couple things that I've been using, and one was suggested to me by a friend that was really helpful for not taking it personally when someone's unhappy with you, for example. And first of all, people aren't really unhappy with us. They don't even know who we are most of the time. So if you call, I think sometimes they're just testy for whatever reason. But this friend of mine said every time you have a good call where you have a good conversation, or where someone compliments you, or something that's kind of stand out, to write it down and then put it someplace, like maybe make a little pile or put a little box or something like that, so that if a call starts to bug you, you can go back and look at that and be reminded that it's just there will be people who are positive, there will be people who are negative, but in the end, it's nothing to take personal. And so anyway, that was very helpful. That was one thing that was useful. And then also a second thing that has been helpful just to me over my career overall is to try to look at things where people are trying to turn it into a confrontation as kind of a positive challenge, like to see, and I don't mean make it a game, but just to see how well you can change the situation and change their attitude. To me, that's a sort of a challenge that I actually strangely enjoy, and so that has been very helpful to me. And so actually I have one I'm working on right now, and I'll have to call you about, Mike. But one person called me and has a big sort of a thing he's really annoyed about, and one of the people I spoke with today, and it's something that I'll have to get some support from you as far as how to deal with. But I'm like, okay, yes, maybe I can go back and change that person's attitude, and I don't know why, but that's something that kind of jazzes me, even though a lot of times that's something that's pretty unpleasant to do. It gets me a little excited, so yeah.
Good deal. Good deal. And I'll be perfectly honest. When people are fighting me, I make it a game. I know I shouldn't, but to me, the game of psychology, it's fun. It's fun. I enjoy it. So maybe, I don't know, maybe the fact that I enjoy it doesn't necessarily make it a game, but it's fun to get into a battle of the wits that has more to do with than just the words you speak, the psychology of it. That's awesome. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That actually describes it much better, very succinctly, and I only say, like, to not make it a game just from the sense of, we're not playing with anybody's feelings or our own. This is important to us, but to not take it so darn seriously that you feel like the world is going to crumble if you aren't able to achieve this. To try and have fun with it.
Absolutely. Mr. Elkins, what's happening with you, man?
Oh, I've got a lot more people interested that I'm working with than I had before. I'm finally getting to a point where my days are aren't just, well, call me next Friday, this or that. It's where they're actually giving me information I couldn't get before, so that's good.
And what do you think it is that got you to that point? What do you think?
I worked with Richard.
Okay.
I worked with Richard on that, and he, there's one trick he was telling me that's been working for me is asking them how many 10-day letters they have out, which I was leaving out of my pitch. I was how many 10-day letters do you have out? I wasn't saying that, and that little change in my pitch has started some conversations.
Good deal. What is it that inspires your development in this?
All the time that I put into it so far. I just I think that that keeps me motivated because there's no way I can't imagine having wasted time. That was so hard. It was so hard having just learned each day. I just can think back of how hard it was to learn what I did the day before. I don't want to have to relearn it, and now it's getting exciting because I'm getting these people, and they got that were telling me they didn't have anything. I mean, I know that most of these people would have blown me off the first week or 2 weeks or first month or whatever, but now they're actually engaging me in a conversation like I'm another professional in the trade.
Well, you are another professional of the trade, so you should get the respect of another professional in the trade. I'm glad to see you're making some headway, and this is a constant learning process. I still learn things every day. Every day I'm looking to learn something new, and that's one of the things that will help you develop into the hard hitter that you're striving to be.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to be able to get those one a day, new clients one a day, like Rick's been saying that'll happen for me. Um, he said to start at two a week, and I was having a dry spell, so I feel that coming on, and I feel some good ones coming on too. Because I've been talking with Rick. He talks. It's hard once you call him. You're on the phone with him for an hour, and another maybe two. So, and I've made some calls with him. We talked a lot, and it really got me focused on what some new tactics and how to go about it. It's just making those calls. I feel bad. I hear that some people have a hard time making calls, but I feel bad. Like sometimes there's some days where I'll get at 20 calls and then I'm on my third hour, and I'm like, I feel like I'm just, for some reason that day I don't know what's taking me so long to get these calls. That I'm longer conversations. Most of it's more having to look up numbers. Whether going to websites, whatever I'm doing, and then but some days like that, it's just discouraging because I'm like, I feel like I need to get 40 calls out. I feel like crud if I don't get 40 calls out on callbacks, on my follow-ups. But and then I never can get to the new leads if I'm only getting 30 or 40. it's just something new to me because I just started working my follow-ups and I was used to the 80 to 100 calls, you know, where I'd feel guilty if I only got 80 in that day, you know.
And one thing you want to stay away from is a lot of investigation on stuff unless you're getting somewhere on it. You know, if you have somebody talking to you, figure out what's what with the company. But if you're just calling a lead, you shouldn't be looking up phone numbers and stuff like that in between your calls. You should be making a call, and as soon as you hang that call up, when I'm on the phone, actually I keep mine on speakerphone. I keep mine on speakerphone, and I'll dial. Then when I terminate a call, I dial the next call immediately. And that's one of the things you can do to help you get more calls in. And also, when you feel like you're running into a dry spell, think about the camel on your logo there. The camel always finds the oasis, man. So, so you want to keep searching, man. You can't. If you let it start getting to you, it'll bring you down. And if it does begin to do that, man, get up, take a walk around, go get some fresh air or something, then come back in and start making calls again. Clearing your head can absolutely intensify not only the volume of the calls you make, but the effectiveness of the calls you make.
Thank you.
Thank you. You got it, man. John Green, what's happening with you, buddy?
There we go. You on there?
Yes, sir.
Just another day in paradise here. You know, I was going to exploit what you just told this last guy, and that was to every once in a while. I don't smoke, but it was like you spoke about maybe a week ago or whenever it was. Sometimes you just got to take a break and clear your head out. And, you know, I do that a lot because when you get jammed up, bam, 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 call after call, and it's the same thing, and you got the people telling you the same thing, well, you just need to clear your head out and rejuvenate yourself. And I know I'm hoarse right now. I hope you guys can understand me. But I took advantage of a situation on Monday that paid off today. I called this little trucking company out of Alabama, and I thank you for downloading all them contacts from Alabama. And the lady was like, we've been driving for the same company for 28 years. She was 67 years old. I'm like, well, great. I says, do y'all ever buy new trucks? I just pulled that out of the can. And she goes, yeah, we just bought a new one and a trailer because we're adding a terminal on to where we drop off and pick up. I'm like, okay. Who's going to do the striping and lettering on it? Well, to make a short story, that worked out for me. They came and spent the night at my house, and I made about $2,000, you know, doing some pinstriping and some lettering on their vehicles. So, you know, if they ever have a collection problem, guess what? I don't think they're going to call anybody else. But right now, if when you come into contact with customers like that that's been doing the same business for 25 to 30 years, they're probably not going to change. So it worked out well for me, and I've still been making calls, and I just hadn't been able to nail the right person down yet. But I used one of your tactics, Mike, and it's changed my entire lifestyle. You've got to constantly ask questions and stay in control of the conversation, or nothing productive is going to be a result.
That's it. That's it. Controlling the conversation is so important. And you can get control right in the beginning of the conversation.
That's right.
And
Now I got to ask you this: what is that shirt you got on? I'm used to seeing you wearing these plaid shirts. What is that logo right there?
polo.
Okay, well, mine is Alabama. I don't know if you can see it or not, but you inspired me by wearing that shirt today. So I went and got my polo and put it on also.
All right, good deal.
Now, did you,
Yeah,
I guess you just got one of your own lessons. I took control of the conversation, and you listen, and everybody's happy. That's the main thing we've got to do when we're on the phone talking to people. You've got to take control of the conversation. You've got to ask the key questions at the right moment. Because if you don't, well, what's the point?
absolutely.
Hi, Daddy.
All right. Does anybody have any further inspiration? Let's take this time to,
Daddy.
I guess, get inspiration and answer
I wanna talk
questions
to it.
or anything like that. If you have any questions for me, or if
I do. I was gonna say that another thing that was working for me that's getting me a lot of places is I've just been doing the same thing that the last hangout I was in, we talked, and you I believe it, you told me that I needed to make 50 more calls before as a warm up before I got onto the phones, onto my follow-ups. And so I haven't been making 50, but I've been doing the warm-ups as much as I can before I got on the phones. And then Mike, in our conversation, he told me, okay, the best thing to do is start out a half hour before you get on the phones and read over the material. He said that was what he had made him his so successful was he knew the material, like, very, very well. He knew that front and back. So I thought, okay, if I just go over the material for a half hour plus make those calls each day, I'll work on that, and that's got to get me somewhere further along. So I've been doing that, and I thought I'd do that until something else comes up that I start working on. But that's working for me, and I'm going to stick to that since it's working for me. I don't have a whole lot of new stuff to work on until, and I think that doing those things plus adding that little pitch that I picked up off of Richard too is going to get me places now. So I'm amazed at the results just from doing those things.
and there are a lot of little things in there that you can do that will dramatically improve your sales process. Process improvement is something that companies have been doing for decades. There's something that manufacturers do called Six Sigma. It's a type of process improvement, and what they do in that is they take in and look at all of their processes that are used to manufacture a product, and they reduce costs and they reduce waste by doing things more efficiently and doing things more correctly. Something is simple. Well, Six Sigma is not simple, but just the concept of it can be also applied to sales. If we improve the process by which we make our calls and how we speak with people, it can dramatically increase our results as sales professionals. Six Sigma that I mentioned is something, I believe it was Motorola that introduced it in the 80s for their manufacturing, and it seriously increased their profits because they just went in and improved processes. They made things more efficient. They looked at things that were problems and said, what can we do to resolve this problem? They resolved it. They said, okay, we're going to do it like this from now on. And it's really as simple as that. If you break everything down into what can I do to improve this little thing, and you do that with all of your processes, just tiny little things here and there can dramatically improve your overall process. And man, it works, you know. And a lot of, well, not a lot of, all of the things that we talk about in these Hangouts are proven. You know, we know that they work historically. So the best thing to do is take as much of that as you can get in and just keep popping it off, you know. Kim Goodwin, what are your thoughts on process improvement?
Oh, it's just critical, I think, to just constantly try to improve. And there's kind of a little quote that I read that I really liked that helped me as far as thinking about that. And it goes, "There's no failure, only feedback." And I kind of looked at that. And, you know, obviously we can fail at things, but I took that to heart when I was making calls and tried to look at each call as a way, each call that I don't get the results that I was hoping for, as a way to help develop my process better. To look at that as feedback that I can learn from each time and kind of see the value in each person's response, and that's where strangely enough, it can make it kind of fun, because as you improve, you feel better and better and better. And getting more successful at something is probably, I think, one of the best feelings there is in life. So
I absolutely agree. It'll definitely keep you going.
yeah, absolutely. And so for me, it's a matter of really trying to hear what another person is saying. As far as, you know, speaking of the process of working with people on the phones, and one of the things that helped me, just like initially, when starting out, it seemed like initially it seems like the hardest thing is getting through the gatekeeper. And listening to you, Mike, and listening to Rick, and both of you gave techniques for it. And what I found was that you can use the techniques, but if you don't have the right attitude, like you both said, the technique won't work properly. You have to have the right attitude and put that attitude into your voice and make sure that there's confidence in it. Because even using the perfect technique, if it's not executed properly, execution really is everything. So
Absolutely. And not only is execution everything, but having that whole package, you know, the techniques, the skills, and the attitude, having those together work beautifully. But if you're missing one of the elements, well, it's not going to work so beautifully. And if you don't believe me on that, try to give a child a Happy Meal without a toy in it.
Exactly.
It just don't work. Good deal. Any other thoughts here on process improvement or inspiration or questions or anything of the sort?
I'm sorry, the first part of that cut out. Were you asking that specifically of me?
Oh, no, to everybody, to everybody. Any other thoughts on process improvement or inspiring your development? Any questions, comments, anything from anybody? This is an open forum, so talk to me.
I was
Okay.
gonna say,
Oh, go ahead.
this is about Six Sigma. I don't know really if it'll help anybody, but there's that there's a certain number that
Let's
is associated
go.
with Six Sigma, isn't there? It's like 0.000036 or something like that percent out of 9. Like, I don't know if it was like 99,999 defects or something like that. Or 99,999 products made. There's 0.00036 or 3 points. I don't know. I don't know if it's 3.6 or it's 0.000036. Something that I can't remember.
I have no idea. I haven't actually really delved into studying it on a manufacturer's perspective.
Well, I just had a course. It's in I've taken some management courses, and it covers a little bit about Six Sigma, and I can't remember. That's just something brief about it, and the whole course that I was learning, you had a whole lot of other material that they just went over that in a few like paragraphs, or a few, maybe a chapter, but and then I also in organizational psychology I took a course in. And fundamentals of business. It's all in there about Six Sigma, but like I said, it's just a paragraph or two and stuff. I haven't taken a whole course on Six Sigma, which is, I think you'd have to actually understand it. You have to take several courses. So I don't know.
Well, the whole concept of it is to fix the problems that will have the greatest impact or the biggest payoff in terms of either cost savings or time savings, improved customer satisfaction, and of course, profit. That's the basic synopsis of it. You don't to use process improvement. You don't need a whole course or several courses on it. What you do need is to begin looking at the things you're already doing and fix the things that have problems, or the ones that are going to have the biggest payoff for you, or the biggest improvement in your sales cycle. And by doing this, you'll not only see higher production, but higher production means higher motivation, higher commitment to your success, and it also helps your commitment to continue improvement. So if you were to pick just a few things and begin working on them, that time you spend working on them is going to be well worth it when you start to see the fruits of that labor. Kim, you had something?
Yes, I thought of something that's kind of it sounds kind of pedantic as far as process improvement goes, but it actually has helped me a lot since I've started. We moved, and so my desk, starting out with a new desk that was totally cleaned off of papers and not a mess, and I have my tablet, and I have things for if I'm writing someone a thank you card, and it's really set out really straightforward so that everything can be found easy, and I've got several pens here, and not a lot of superfluous stuff. For me, that was shockingly helpful. And just having just my physical space be in order, which it's kind of a small part of the process, but it was surprising how much having just some order and having a system for how to keep the house quiet when I want to be on the phone, all these sort of things really helped me a lot.
Absolutely, and that's something that goes in right in with the term getting your whole house in order, which means everything around you. It doesn't mean clean up the house. It means clean up everything. Everything that can improve how you live life, not just do sales. And just having a clear desk is absolutely part of that. I wish my desk was clear right now.
Your space always looks so organized from our view, so it looks very just straightforward and in line.
Oh, it's organized, but you can't see this too well. My stack of stuff to do on top of my file cabinet. That's my stack of stuff to do. But it's organized. I have it organized, and I get my stuff done. But having your processes improved, it can turn whatever current mistakes that anybody's making, you can turn those into profit by getting rid of them and being more efficient. And this will give you more time to conduct business, more time for personal life, and it can help you look at your sales cycle as a business model. Even if your business is doing well, it can always do better. It can always increase in volume, increase in profit, and we can always do everything that we need to make our product, our service better. And that's what really brings the highest quality of service to our clients. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're approaching the hour mark on this, so if there's nothing else, we're going to shut this thing down. If anybody has anything, let's hop in and talk about it. If not, let's do what it is we do and make a couple of bucks while we're doing it. John, I'm not sure if you're trying to say something, man. I seen you moving your hands. I don't know if you were trying to talk. If you are, you're on mute.
Yeah, I had everything on mute. What I was going to give everybody is something that inspires me, and I know everybody does this. They just won't admit it, but sometimes at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you have to get up and go pee. Well, guess what? The dog's asleep, the kid's asleep, and that's when I rehearse my lines. If you get it locked into your brain and you can sit there and talk just like I am right now, letting everything roll off the tongue, you'll have a much better conversation with your client than you will somebody that's reading lines. And the reason that just brought my attention up was because of what Kim was talking about. I had a salesperson yesterday call me, and it was just blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, are you reading that off of a page? Why are you calling me? And that's why I said earlier, the training that we went through so far with Lines and Associates has made me a sharper person. And I can detect now when I get these crazy salesmen calling me of reading their lines. If you're having to read your lines, you're not doing your job very well. And that's the point I wanted to bring out.
All right, very good. Good advice. Good advice. We have anything else before we close? All right. Well then, I guess I'll see you guys on here again Tuesday, and I'm sure I'll talk to everybody on here soon about something before then. So, you guys, if I don't talk to you before the weekend, have a great weekend and make it a powerful day.